Hi, I'm Catherine Llewellyn, the host of the podcast. You can find out all about Truth and Transcendence on truthandtranscendence.com. And you can find out all about me on beingspace.world, where you will find my online coaching offering, as well as my UK-based workshops. The Freedom of Spirit workshop for liberation and empowerment, the Pellowah Radical Shift in Consciousness workshop for spiritual expansion, and transformational coaching for exploring the mind-body-spirit connection on the expansive path. You can also support the podcast by actually making a donation. I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to Truth and Transcendence. You can find all our episodes on truthandtranscendence.com. So today I'm going to talk about expectations and security. And how this topic came to me is I've been talking to a lot of people recently about attending workshops or embarking on coaching or trying out new experiences of one sort or another. And I've noticed this dynamic to do with expectations and security. Because something I think in the West that we are very conditioned into is this idea that we have to know what to expect before we feel comfortable or secure, let's say, to embark on something. So if we really have no idea what to expect, we may not feel safe to proceed. It might feel too risky. The only problem with that is that if we do know exactly what's going to happen and exactly what it's going to feel like, that's fine, unless you want to actually learn and grow and enhance your life in some way. Because if there is no surprise in it, if all our expectations are met in exact terms and format, then there's no change. There's no new information. There's no new experience. And so everything stays the same and just repeats. So there's nothing wrong with that experience. But if we want to grow, we want to expand, then I think my proposition is that we need, to some extent, to have our expectations not be absolutely fully informed about what we're going to experience and what's going to happen. That said, how do we decide whether or not it's safe to go ahead and do something, to try something out? And I think this is a combination of factors. One being, is there something about the situation that we're thinking of attending? For example, a workshop or a coaching situation or a retreat, or even reading a book. Is there some ingredient of that we know we are comfortable with, we feel secure with? So, for example, do we know the workshop facilitator? Do we know them to be trustworthy? Do we know them to be honorable? Do we know them to be experienced and kind? If it's a book, are we comfortable that the book is going to be well printed, that it's going to be comfortable to hold in our hands, that the author knows something about what they're talking about? Perhaps we've heard about it online, perhaps it's won awards. There's something about it which conveys to us some confidence that it's worth giving it a go. So that's an external aspect of, is there something about the thing we're considering to engage with that has us feel comfortable about it? But the other factor is, what's our degree of inner security? And I'm going to suggest that if our degree of inner security is really high and very strong, that increases our scope enormously in terms of the amount of risk we can take when we decide to embark on something new and different. And to me, one of the things I'm constantly doing in my life is looking to strengthen my inner core. And when I say my inner security, what I mean is my self-trust, my confidence that I can actually cope with whatever it is that comes towards me. And my confidence that even if I feel like I'm not coping, or even if I feel like I'm overwhelmed, my personal natural process of being and experiencing and navigating my experience will keep me safe, will have me be secure, as in I won't be damaged. I may experience some chaos. I may experience some confusion. I may experience some difficult emotions. I may fall apart a bit. If you listen to recent episodes, you know that recently I injured myself. Now, that's obviously not ideal. So, yes, sometimes I may have an experience that I don't like. And while I'm in the experience, I may be absolutely certain I'm not going to survive it. And if I'm pretty confident that even those experiences I'm okay with, that really increases the scope of what I'm able to engage with that may be well outside of what I know is going to happen or my expectations. So for me, that's part of my path to freedom, part of my path to sovereignty and enjoying my life. So the invitation, I suppose, for everyone listening to this or watching this coming week is to consider, how strong is my inner core in terms of my sense of security that I can open myself to unknown and unexpected experiences and be okay, even if I might have a difficult experience along the way. And additionally, to ask ourselves, okay, if there are various things laid out on the table, like brochures, if we imagine that each opportunity coming our way comes in the form of a brochure, they're laid out on the dining room table, and some of them are colourful and some of them are not, and some of them are sparkling and some of them are dark, and some of them have a lot of text and some of them don't, and some of them have pictures and some don't. And we look at them. Which are the ones that are least within our current understanding of what we can expect? Which are the ones that are mostly in the unknown? And which are the ones that are most appealing to us? So if we select the ones that are really appealing and in the unknown, we then ask ourselves, can I cope with those things? And is there something about those that is an external factor that I can feel secure with? For example, who is it who's facilitating this experience? Who is it who designed it? Where is it happening in terms of location? What's the language that's going to be spoken? And very simply, so a lot of people now are bilingual, but I'm not. A lot of people still aren't. So, will I be required to try and understand something in another language or in another accent? I went to the States for several workshops when I was training to be a five rhythm dance teacher, and the faculty were all American. And one time when one of the faculty members said to the group, I didn't realize at the time she was only speaking to the Europeans who don't speak English. She said, is anyone here having difficulty understanding anything I'm saying? And I put my hands up and she looked at me. She gave me a flat look. And I realized that was not the appropriate response she was looking for. She was talking to Polish people, German people, French people, Italian people. But I genuinely quite often couldn't understand what she was saying. And that made I felt less secure in that regard. But, I was okay with it. I managed to navigate it. I was able to go up to her in the breaks and say, I missed that entire thing that you said. And she would explain it to me. So looking at our inner core, our inner security is well worthwhile. And also looking at the situations we're considering engaging with that may seem a bit risky, that may be outside of our current sphere of expectation, and asking ourselves, is there at least an ingredient there that I can, latch onto, anchor onto, that will help me to feel comfortable doing this? Have fun with that. And thank you for watching and listening. That's all for Truth and Transcendence for today. You can find our other episodes on truthandtranscendence.com. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, a 5-star rating makes such a difference, and share with your friends, and comment on what we were discussing today. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. It really helps if you give a thumbs up, a 5-star rating, a review, and share with your friends. if you're looking for transformational coaching or an intensive transformational weekend workshop experience, I can help with that. You can actually help the show by making a donation. Until next time, take care.